Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. We're officially doing our August reading wrap up, and here is the 5 books I read in August. So stay tuned for that. Okay, guys, so I read 5 books in the month of August. I know you're like, that's weird for you. You usually read a lot more books, and I agree. However, hear me out. I spent a lot of the latter part of August reading books and short stories that I found on Facebook and TikTok. I have had the best time of my goddamn life last month reading these short stories. A lot of it is about like werewolves and rejected mates. You guys know I love those. But some of them are just like short stories about like women being married, and then there's a third person in the marriage, like he have this first love situation. And you guys know, if you are on TikTok and you're watching those Chinese Korean drama, it's always a first love or it's a reborn situation. And girl, I have been giddy, I have been kicking my feet because it's been fun. So I've spent a lot of the latter part of September. Oh my god, why am I saying September? I mean, we're in September right now, but the latter part of August reading short stories from Facebook to Facebook. Thank you very much, and I hope you continue to post those nice little short stories and self-published work, because I have been having a good time. And as soon as I find a new one, I jump on Google to find it, or like at least like if I can't find it on Google because there's no name there, I usually use ChatGPT and you put in the inserts into there so it can tell me which book it's from. All in the pursuit of a good goddamn story. So yeah, I've been having a good time. So let's get into the actual 5 books that I read in the month of August. First one, I ended up finishing my third reread of the Bonds That Tie series, which is this is the what was the fifth one? Hold on. Sixth book, which is Unbroken Bonds. Oh my god. As I said in my previous video for my July wrap up. Yeah, I think it was my July wrap up. Um I just enjoy these books so much. It's one of my favorite reverse harems. She wrote these books so well that I feel like every year I have to reread it. And I found it last year. I read it twice last year and I read it once this year. Just phenomenal. And of course I gave that a 4. And as you guys know, that book, well, the entire series is about a young lady who rejected her mates, 5 of them, and she pretty much ran from them because of her own fears. And eventually, they found her, they caught her, they dragged her back to them, and it was a whole mess of dislike and hate and murder and drama, and just the thrill of it was fucking fantastic. And I enjoy it that much that I have to reread it at least once a year. So yeah, and of course I gave that a 4 because it is delicious, and I love me a reverse harem. Give her all of them. Okay? Yeah, give her all of them. Of course. Now, the second book, I'm looking at my phone, is The Bradford Bride by TJ Maguire. Oh, so this book is about, so there, I think there are like 4 siblings. Yes, 4 siblings. One of the siblings is a girl, and the other 3 are boys. And the first book is about her, the girl. She is pretty much a badass. She's an enforcer for her father, which obviously is not something that is normal. The Italians are different. Like, the Italian women are weak and they usually don't fight, and they're more protected. But the Bratva, their women get into it. Their women are just as brutal, sometimes even worse than the men. So she's a Bratva princess. Oh, pause. And her family rules Las Vegas. And her love interest, which is a Costa Nostra man, the Italians, they rule New York. So they now have ended up having a marriage alliance, and girl, it started from there. And I just had such a great time with this book. And could you imagine, they're not enemies, right? So they're not enemies, but they don't really mess with each other. You know, the Bratva and the Costa Nostra men, the Italians, it's not just not something they do. They don't really mesh well together. You know, the Bratva marry in the Bratva and the Costa Nostra marry in the Costa Nostra. So because they came together now, that it's even more of a mess. You understand? His family came to her family because they needed some help with their own enemy. The Costa Nostra need help from the Bratva because of their own enemy going on. And they thought that, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And they ended up, her dad ended up saying, hey, there need to be something to cement this deal. So a marriage alliance will work in their favor. And, because Costa Nostra men tend to marry Italian women, and Bratva women and Bratva men tend to marry their own kind. So that in itself too causes another problem, another war, and she's not what he's accustomed to. He's accustomed to fragile, timid women, whereas she is brutal. As I said, she's an enforcer for her father. So I had a good time with this book, and I am back into my mafia gangster reading. And I'm having a good time. So for this book, I give it a 4 because it was so delicious. So delicious. So because I enjoyed Bratva Bride, I ended up reading Bratva Prince by T.J. Maguire. And baby, this is book 2. So the first girl name is Ileana. I don't know if I didn't tell you guys. Yeah, Ileana was the first sibling. So the second book is about Alexander. So he's the oldest son of the Volkov family. And I know it's kind of weird starting with the youngest, which was what book 1 was, and then book 2 is now about the oldest. But I am enjoying the pace of it because in book 1 we actually get to meet Alexander, and I like him. He is like super in control, and he don't show too much emotions, and he is the one that's supposed to be taking over after his father, which is the Bradford Butcher. Oh, yeah, so he even worse than his father. He's very, very brutal. And did I mention he's really big? In obviously in size and height. And this book is about his story and who he is and what made him the way he is and why he is so cold and standoffish, and he meets his soon to be wife, and it's just, and then they're in war with the cartels, and it is just once again delicious. And these books are very, very addicting. I gave this a 4 out of 5 too because it was a good time and it was a good read, and I was not bored, not even one bit. Right? The end of the second book had a very big twist, a huge freaking twist, just like the first one. And I was like, you know what? I need to take a break from these books because I'm running through these things like nothing. And the third book is the Bradford Butcher, which is about his dad. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get into that. Not right now, but soon. So I kind of take a break from them. Overall, such a great freaking series thus far. First 2 books is fantastic, and I'm gonna go into the third book when I actually, you know, build up the courage for that. And then, I came across this book on TikTok called Rise of the Dark Throne, the Mosa Chronicle by Lygia N. Cushman. And I was like, oh, this looked good. I didn't know what the book was about, as usual. And I saw the artwork on TikTok, and I think it came from the actual author. And I was like, oh, this looks good. This looked good. You understand? So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna read that because the art was fantastic. Went to my Kindle and realized that, yeah. So what you telling me is this is on Kindle Unlimited. All right, say less. Say less. And I jumped into that. And I was enjoying it at first. So we get into the book where it is coming from the POV of the youngest princess for the Mosa kingdom. Her mother and father are the king and queen. She has 2 older sisters, and then there's her. So her older sister is supposed to get married before her. However, she was getting married before her older sister, which is not customary, but she found her mate and they didn't want to wait anymore, which was obviously freaking fantastic. And she was having such an amazing time, and she got married and it was beautiful. But then she woke up and she was the only one that woke up throughout her entire kingdom overnight. Some terrible plague washed over her kingdom, and that was the beginning of just trauma and angst and fighting and just history in itself. And it showed naivety, her naivety and her own vulnerability, and just the fact that she didn't really know herself or the people around her. And because of this plague, she woke up with powers that could end her and pretty much all of existence, or save her and all of existence and the people that she loved. So it really was interesting. I was intrigued by the book, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would, especially going into it blind. Like the ants and everything about it, it was just like minimal, so it just intrigued me enough to keep reading and finishing the book. But I don't know yet if I'm going to continue the series. And you guys know I am a serial series starter, so maybe I might. But it intrigued me enough that I gave it a 2, but it wasn't that enjoyable. So I hope that I would be at the stage where I'm like, yeah, let me jump into book 2 just to see how it's gonna go. I did read the preview for book 2 and I was like, yeah, I'm intrigued, but I'm not that intrigued enough to read book 2 right after book 1. So yeah, that's where we are right now. So the last and final book that I read in August is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. And I did do a vlog for this, so you guys are definitely gonna be seeing that video after this. And oh my god, girl, I've had this book for months and I don't know why I never picked it up. Like initially when it came all over TikTok, I was like, "Ooh, this looks good, fantastic, interesting." And I wanted to pick it up, but I was like, I can't do with the hype right now. I'm gonna read it on my own time because I really was getting into a lot of other books at the time. So when I saw it on in Winners, I believe I have the vlog on my channel as well. So I'll link it down below so you guys can go watch that. And I saw it, I was like, ooh, I am gonna get this. I'm gonna get this. It looks interesting. I know that it's really good, and some people say it's like horrible, but I read it and baby, I gave it a 4 because it was a good freaking time. It was a good time. Yeah, I had anyways, this is about a girl that grew up pretty much in the slums. Her kingdom is cut off into sections based on socioeconomical status, right? So either you're rich, like filthy rich, or you're well off, or you're poor, like in the slums, poor. And she is this strange 24, I think she's 24, yes, 24-year-old Cyrus Fane, that's the name of the female character, that is pretty much a thief. She grew up in the slum, she pickpockets, she does what she can to survive, so she and her brother and her family friend that's more like her father can survive. She works in a forge, which obviously is very unusual for a girl. In her city where she grows up, women tend to make their living by laying on their backs, and it's a job for some people, but it's not a job for all people. So she ended up working in the forge with her mother's friend, who ended up being somewhat of a father figure to her. And she made different things, different metalworks, rings, knives, swords, whatever she can. She also ended up learning how to fight with the rebels, and she is just this force to be reckoned with. And I really like her as a character. And it so happened that she caught the eye of some of the queen's reinforcers and she stole something that she was not supposed to steal. Her idiotic brother did something wrong and she had to save him, which in turn put her in pretty much mortal peril. She ended up going to the castle to, lack of better words, get killed. But then she ended up opening a gateway to another realm, which ding 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 ding, the Fey realm, and all hell broke loose. She ended up in the middle of a freaking war that has been raging for centuries. Bear in mind, she has power that she's not supposed to have. Ended up in a new world, and it's just all hell, wars, and different creatures that she's never seen before or never even read before. Certain things that she never even thought the Fae were real, and it spiraled and it spiraled and it spiraled and it kept getting good and good and good and good. And yeah, one thing I will say, even though I gave this book a 4 out of 5, by the way, I gave this book a 4. I did not like certain aspects of her behavior. Like in the heat of it, when I was reading the book, I was like, yeah, this is nice. But after a while, I was like, girl, stand up. She is a strong female lead, don't get me wrong. But girl, you needed to stand the hell up for at certain aspects. You know? Like she's always injured. Very easily, even though she can fight. So it's like, anyways, as I said, I had a good time with the book because it was actually a really good time and I enjoyed it. And I don't know if there's going to be a book 2. I know for sure right now there isn't a book 2. It says at the back of this, it says, stay tuned for more from Kingfisher and Ceres coming in fall 2025. And yeah, Kingfisher is obviously the love interest and he actually helps her to get over to the Fae realm. And I don't know if I like him too much. The way they keep calling him Kingfisher, Kingfisher, Kingfisher. I listen, okay? Just yeah. I like her and I like him. But in I'll listen, I'm rambling. But you guys will see the vlog after this and you will see exactly where I was coming from at the time and where I am right now. Because it's like literally, when did I finish this book? I finished this book on the 25th of August. From then on, I kind of jumped into the Facebook Marketplace, Facebook, TikTok ads, short stories, and yeah, I got swamped into that. But you will see this vlog right after this one, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Like my mind was all over the place because even though I like her character and I'm okay with his character, I just didn't like how many times like certain things were repeated, just constantly, like calling him Kingfisher, knowing the relationship between his stepfather and her was just weird and awkward to me. And I don't know if I really like the way things are just repeated constantly. Like, girl, don't baby me up. You've been telling me these things. So it's like, ugh. But overall, as I said, 4. That's why it's not a 5 because it was not this amazing read. It was fun, it was great, and it was very, very intriguing enough that I had a good time. But it's not a 5 for me. I know some people get this a 5, but for me, if it wasn't as fun as it was, I would have probably given it a 3 just to say, hey, yeah, it was enjoyable. But it's definitely a 4. It earned the 4 with some problems. Complaints. I have complaints. So I hope the second book is better. And I really look forward to the second book. But as you guys can see, I have been rambling to get my thoughts out. And I hope this video is not as chaotic as I feel like it was filming it. Either way, this is my video. This is the end of the video. And I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Enjoy my video. See how I can sing? I can sing good, ain't it? Yeah. Okay. Bye.